Hello everybody, welcome to Stone Void, your weekly podcast for everything Force of Will. Joining me this week is the guy who wishes that every set was a Godzilla set, Patrick Collins.
That's me.
The guy who believes that the only good interaction is no interaction, Don Bowie.
Hey.
And the guy who believes that the best spell is a counterspell, your host, Jay Phillips. Thank you guys for joining us this week. We are going to be talking about the most exciting news that we have every season, and that is the spoiler season. It's like miniature little Christmas land for us every single time that we get to see the new cards and what the new set's going to have for us. And we had a ton of speculation leading up to this video. A lot of the stuff for the energized, whether it be dual color, single color, and we finally have our answers. And we finally get to see the first new ruler, which is the green-white ruler, which is going to be Glorious, the Masked Crusader, which is going to have energized for both green and light, which is exciting and awesome. Didn't think they'd actually do that.
I didn't think they would do that.
I did.
Either.
That's what I thought.
You really spoke up then, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Well, that's not all that he does. He does have a judgment for one light, one green, and one colorless, and his other ability is discard a card with inheritance, which is a new keyword for this set, and we'll probably see a lot more of it coming out of this set, which is... For him, he may discard a card with inheritance, draw a card, play this ability only once per turn, which isn't too impressive. He's not a super multiple tasking ruler on the front side, but being able to cycle is really, really great.
I think that is a decent ability. It's not great, but it's better than most rulers' front side abilities.
I think the most important thing to take away from that front side is definitely the energized for both colors. Now, that's not too special.
Well, it can do either one. Right. It can't do both.
Yeah, it's either one. You have to choose when you sacrifice the coin.
Yeah.
So you sack the coin and you get one or the other, but it's not that exciting knowing that the other four rulers will have the same ability for their two attributes, which you could argue green and light are a really great combo to have. We've seen that with Kaguya. We've seen that with other rulers.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's good to have that diverse ability, but without seeing what the other rulers are, and if they have other abilities in addition to that, other than just cycling once per turn. And you can't cycle on your opponent's turn with this card. You can only do it during your turn.
Okay.
I don't know how strong that will be overall.
I mean, I don't know. There might be something where you want to fill your graveyard, or just digging is always... Having the option to dig for stuff is always a good...
Right. But that does mean that you're going to have to be playing the inheritance... very much strict deck, since that discard is only based around the creatures with that ability, which it is only creatures that have inheritance, and we'll get to that here in a few seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it's very limited for sure to the creatures with only inheritance, but I don't know, I mean, just it sounds great. It kind of sounds like a little bit of a RR kind of feel to it with its filtering ability.
Yeah, it definitely does. I like that. I'm trying to think what other ruler does the filter thing. I know that there was a recent one.
Shion
does the top look if you have the harmonica.
Yeah.
It's definitely nothing groundbreaking though. I think that it's good. I think that this allows for a really good mid-range build deck with these inheritance cards, which we're about to talk about. I think this is a good... big stompy creatures deck. I don't think it's going to necessarily be an aggressive deck, but the way that this ability reads, when we finally get to it, it might want to be aggressive. But again, this isn't a red deck, so you're always kind of looking more at the beast builds, things like that. It's definitely not a control build, as we've seen in the past with most win. I'm definitely curious to see where this is going to go. But let's quickly talk about the J-Ruler side, which is going to be Faria. So Faria is actually back. Super awesome. She's the ruler of divine beasts, which means that I don't know if the sacred beasts are coming back. The artwork behind her looks to be the sacred beasts.
Yeah.
Well, at least two of them, from what I can tell.
At least two of them, which is the green one and the light one, which the red one kind of makes the art fanning behind her.
Yeah, it kind of, but I'm not...
And
not sold.
I'm not sure either. I think what it is, the way that she's utilizing them, is if you look at the jewels on Excalibur, it has 4 different colored jewels, and I think they're all going to represent the sacred beasts.
They're like stones.
Right, yeah. I think that they're stones, and I think that's how they're going to be utilized is in Excalibur in some way, although we don't have Regalia coming back, so who knows how that's going to be really done out. However, she is 1,000/1,000, so not the biggest or best stats. She is a green... or light and wind ruler. And when this card enters the field, put the top card of your stone deck into the field, which means that you don't miss your drop when she flips, which is what Old Far used to do anyways. In each turn, you may play the first inheritance ability without paying the cost. You still have to discard the card. And she also has a God Art, which God Arts are coming back, which is always awesome. I like to see God Arts. Hers is actually free, and just like all other God Arts, you can only use this once per turn, but hers gives her...
Once per game.
Yeah, once per game, sorry. Once per turn. Well, that would be broken. But this card gains barrier until end of turn. And I'm assuming that that's just barrier to all colors of will. Like, you just cannot target her.
Yeah, it just has
Super
barrier
awesome.
temporarily.
I've gotten so
for a
used
turn.
to barrier having the will symbols after them, dictating which ones are restricted to, which feels clunky when you have that symbol there. A lot of people keep thinking that it's something you have to pay.
Yeah.
It's not. It's what you're actually getting the barrier from. What do you guys think of this card, and do you think that it's going to see any play?
I just knowing the spoiler articles, I really like the inheritance ability. It's been getting quite a bad rap on the Facebook page. Like,
Yeah.
almost overwhelmingly, like, people think most of these cards are pretty meh.
Well, we're going to get to inheritance in just a second, and I guess that is a big...
But that's a big part of
Yeah,
this
it's a big part of that
ruler.
ruler, and it's something we got to talk about. So if you guys want to come back to it, we definitely can. We can quickly move on to the Beast of Holy Light, which looks to kind of be like the new Sacred Beast-esque type things. It's a 300/300 for 1 light will. It is a beast, and it has barrier from red and black. Now, this card also has the inheritance ability, which we were talking about, which is pay 1 light, which is the cost of the resonator already. And then target J/resonator gains +300/+300 and barrier from red and black until end of turn. Pay so you got to pay that ability and discard this card to get that effect
From your hand.
from your hand. So you have to have it from in your hand to do this inheritance. Inheritance on field doesn't do anything, and it looks kind of weird when you look at it. And what that means is that when you cast this, it's more of like an activated ability. However, it doesn't interact that way. They cannot counter this through normal means. This doesn't interact with the stack. You basically discard this from your hand, and this effect occurs, which makes this really strong against a lot of decks that can't interact. The only thing that I've heard or seen anybody talk about this card and being able to interact with inheritance is going to be the...
Bear magic?
Yes. Bear Magic does kind of mess with this a little bit, but in the grand scheme of things, this is a very powerful effect that your opponent really can't interact with. So, as we're going to see eventually, this will give a lot more interesting abilities. So with that in mind, does that... how do you guys feel about that inheritance ability and the ruler?
You want to see?
I mean, but it still goes on the stack, so you can interact with it by
Yes.
either killing it or making it have barrier against it. So you can...
You can give the creature barrier, or you can, when secluded refuge, the creature.
Yeah.
There's ways to mess with the creature, but it in itself, you playing this ability can't be countered with a normal counterspell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
an
lot
activated
harder to
ability.
deal
It's a roundabout way of you dealing with this card, which is why this becomes a little bit more interesting. If this was just the Rapid Growth, I think was the name of the card, whatever it's called, the one that buffs your guy and then you can rebound it. That card still saw play sometimes. Like I saw people play that card, and in comparison, this is just a much better ability.
Yeah, it's
than
a
that
much
one.
better version.
Not saying that this is the best end-all, be-all ability, or that this is necessarily has to see play because it's so good, but that in the realm of things, having the ability not being able to be countered through normal means does make this better than the other growth effects that we have seen in the past. The best way that you can think about this is if, and not to bring this into the world of Magic, this was actually a magic ability called Blood Rush. And as we saw that mechanic destroy in limited formats, it did also see some constructed play. And I don't think it ever went into their older formats, but for the time being, it does allow aggressive decks to be much more aggressive. It allows them to randomly swing for lethal when you really would not expect it.
Yeah.
I think this will create very dynamic combat that the game is already renowned for. I think Forcible is very tricky to know how to play in combat since you can move in and out so fluidly, and that this is just going to add that extra layer of control players just not being able to completely read how your opponent is going to interact with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I personally am a fan of these cards. I like that they can be treated as a resonator or a chant. Like, it's like you can look at it.
Chant instant at that.
Yeah, chant instant too.
And I think another real quick thing, not to like overcast you guys here, but the effect is not just during combat. This is an effect that you can have whenever. So if you're playing against a red-black control deck, which is something that I've been building for the current meta, this card can just be played in response to that to give them barrier and stop me from burning out your creature or doing something in that response.
Yeah.
And it also targets your J Ruler, which is very relevant as well. Just to throw that out there.
I guess the main perk of this is that it's basically uncounterable by any counter spells. Mm-hmm. And you just have to interact with it in different ways.
Also, the Beast Magic card, right, or Bear Magic,
yeah.
that doesn't hit the Ruler, right?
No.
So we could see an aggressive build with Rulers using these cards as well, since it can target them.
Right. That would be pretty strong.
Yeah, I think these things have a lot of complex interactions, and I think we're definitely going to see how good these are when we actually get our hands on them, which is quite a bit of ways, considering this is our first set of spoilers. Next up, we're going to have for 1 wind, it is the Sacred Beast of Wind. Nice little work there, guys. 300, much like the last one. This one has flying, which means the inheritance ability is pay 1 green, target J/Resonator gains plus 300, and flying. This one out of the group is very awesome. I really like to just get that evasion going. Mm-hmm. This can be a really powerful card. I think that the barrier is a little bit limited. That depends on what deck you're playing against. I think this one so far is probably the better of the two.
Yeah. No, it definitely is. I mean, Dreams of Flight, the Remnant white spell from the Curse of the Frozen Casket, just giving a Resonator or J Ruler flying was completely bonkers and limited anyways. Mm-hmm. Like, if these cards aren't good in constructed, they're gonna be amazing in limited. Like,
these are bonkers. In limited, you take these highly. I think this is going to just run over your opponent in limited. It'll allow you to trade better against them, allow you to actually just do really awesome things against them. I think in limited, these cards are nuts.
Yeah.
Do you think it would trade efficiently because you're going down a card? It's just like...
depends on what you're trading with.
It allows, depending on what you're doing with these, or just being able to go over your opponent in limited is a huge thing. You're almost always going to be trading the card in your hand for their card on the field. I don't think you're going to be chump blocking when you're using these effects too often.
Yeah.
This is really, really putting you above what's going on in limited. In constructed, that affects a lot less weak. It's definitely a lot more skill-based at that point. But we'll definitely see how that changes as we see more of these cards come out. Of course, we only have a few of these today, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see more of this as spoilers come out.
Yeah.
I would be... to see a ruler ability like that only have 3 inheritance cards, that would be similar to Mars and whatnot. I doubt they're going to keep doing that.
I'd assume that we're at least going to see like 3 or 5 more.
Yeah. I definitely think we're going to see most of the green-white cards have this ability. Unless it's intertwining with another dual-colored ruler that shares either green or white. Then it might have that ability for the other one. But I definitely think they're going to push this one. Especially with our next one, which is the Beast... Divine Beast of Atarakia for 1 white and 1 light and 1 wind. I keep wanting to call them by their color, guys, here. 600 attack, 600 defense. It is a Divine Beast, which is a different typing than the last 2. So it looks like we might have a full cycle of Divine Beasts that have this. It would be interesting. And it has, when you play an inheritance ability, this card gains plus 200, and whenever this card deals damage, you gain that much life until end of turn. The inheritance for this card is target J/Resonator you control gains plus 600 for the turn. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't give that life-gaining stack ability, but it still is the biggest buff that we had out of
for
them.
2 mana.
And it is for 2 mana. It is 1 light and 1 green. So it does give you a bigger buff, but it doesn't give you the life-gaining ability, which would have made this card absolutely insane.
The life-gain ability can stack, too.
Yeah, no.
Can it?
Yeah.
This, because
You
each
hit it with
each
two.
instance of the inheritance entering the battlefield will trigger this ability.
It doesn't gain a symbol skill, it just gains that ability.
Yeah.
It gains it twice.
Right.
So, that's kind of crazy to just watch that stack up that way. This creature can get insane on its own. I don't know if this one's going to be played for its inheritance ability, but the fact that this card is never dead in your hand, the fact that it in addition to being a amazing 600/600 2-mana or 2-will creature, and also randomly buffing your ruler or somebody else, makes this card that much better.
It's cool.
And that's why this is
I
also
think
our
this
first.
card's bonkers, personally.
So would you personally like play this card as your main attacker and just dump your inheritance things onto it?
Well,
Give it
you know, you
multiple
gotta
stacks?
you gotta be careful what you're playing
Yeah,
against.
yeah.
Because bear magic can really just throw
Really
you
mess
out of the water.
But I mean, it's similar to the idea of playing like, what if this is where inheritance gets kind of crazy. Imagine if you had a Lancelot, and late game you know how he just sucked.
Yeah.
But you could discard him to give something else +600. This card has versatility. It is interesting to see that fluctuation. I think it has a lot of.
I personally think it's a really good control card.
Mm-hmm.
Like it could be like your control beater. Like you just play it, and you just swing with it normally. If you need to, and you just hold up counter spells really, and then just when the time is right, you inheritance it. Like I feel like for some reason, like Tree is screaming at me when it comes to this card.
I could see something like that.
Yeah. Because Tree likes green white, but
so
positive. And life gain in Tree is kind of bonkers. Like,
kind of is. They could really just make you have 2 games against somebody in one.
Yeah.
It can really put you so far out of reach that the non-targeting Thunder can't really even stop you at that point.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that deck abusing it a lot, but I can see a lot of decks trying to abuse this card. I definitely think we'll see a lot of people brewing with this card. Whether or not it ends up showing up on top tables, I don't know, but it's definitely a card to look at and try to brew something with. And especially this next card, which is going to put Wind and Light up really well, is they decided at common to print a quick cast torrent ability for a 1 wind, 1 light. Search your deck for a resonator, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So it's a quick casting tutor that allows you to then torrent, which is recover up to 1 target magic stone. And for anybody who doesn't remember what torrent was from last game, or from last set, whenever you've cast a spell before, torrent then triggers and allows you to do this secondary ability. So essentially this becomes a 1 will costing card at instant speed for you to tutor for whatever creature you need in this situation. I think this card is nuts.
I think this card is terrible.
Do you?
I think this card's terrible.
Now, I understand why a lot of
Really?
people think it's terrible, and it does make sense. So this is the idea behind fetching cards like this are you're burning resources you're doubling up. It takes 2 cards to do 1 effect. I get why a lot of people don't like these cards, and to that I think this card can be insane because it can fetch something at instant speed that you can then flash in or something, or it just allows you to interact with your opponent.
Well, then we need better flash targets. I mean, we only got Glorious and Melfi
right,
so far.
but searching out for Melfi, so this card then triggers her torrent ability, and then you can cast them on your opponent's turn. I think that there's fun interactions to have with these cards. But why do you think it's bad? I actually want to know.
I think, 2 mana, and it's green-white, so it's already a dual-colored card.
But it is in control. I imagine this in a hard control deck that just needs its out.
Just keeps its mana
Searches
up.
for its combo piece. This is a huge combo card, huge control card.
Well, I mean, it's very limited. It only searches for a resonator. It's gotta be a good resonator, and so what's the bombiest card you look for in green?
Celestial?
Yeah.
Celestial?
So
Celestial Wing Seraph?
this card would have been amazing back when I had my red control deck.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's in the wrong colors.
It is in the wrong colors, but I still could see playing it in that. I could see, because that was a green-red control deck that I used to run. The idea behind it is multiple colors isn't too hard to actually get to. But back in the day, I wanted to search for the 5-drop creature. She was actually 3-drop, but her Awakening ability allowed you to steal a creature and then swing with both of them. That was a great end game ability, however, I only ran 2 in the deck. This allows you to toolbox your deck, allows you to run fewer of certain key resonators that are really good in certain matchups, allows you to search for them. I mean, this is the big ability that was on Arnar. You know, the searching for, sure, that allow you to search for any card, but this allows you to toolbox, search for creatures that are relevant, and deal with your opponent that way. There's a lot of resonators in this game that do the work of what most of the other cards do, whether it's destroy a creature or various other things. I think this could have high impact in that way.
I just don't think so. I mean, I think Rook Egg is just a lot better search just because it puts in a block, and then it also... I mean, sure, it's much more limited than that, but then it at least has some other use other than just
But
searching.
I mean, think about searching for a Milfy and then
cast.
stopping the damage from that creature and then having a blocker up on top of that. Instance, it allows you to play multiple...
So that you're saying you're playing this card for 4 mana then? It's not 2 mana. You're saying this is 4 mana.
Yes, it's a later game card, but that's why I'm saying it's a control card. Or the bigger idea is if this is in a combo deck and you have like your 2
I could see it
cards,
in a combo deck, but there's no...
You're just at the end of your opponent's turn, quick casting this for 2 mana. Why not? No torrent, no nothing. You just cast this so that you can get your end game card, put it into your hand, untap on your turn, play that card and do what you need to do. This could just help you set up for combos.
I guess I'm going to compare this to Hydromonica. Like Hydromonica, you paid 2, you sacked it, you put a thing on top of your deck, and then you drew it for that turn. And this is basically
This doesn't sit on
better.
top of your deck. This is a better version of that.
But Hydromonica, you could...
Search for any card.
Any card.
Yeah.
It could, if you also
But
played
a
it with
lot of
Xion,
times-
it only costed 1.
Yeah,
Right.
but I still played it
In other decks.
in other decks, and it was still relevant because I could search for any card I want.
Mhm.
It was usually Celestial Wing Seraph, but now I can search for like Red Boy or like Captain Hook early game, mid game-ish, or like something else relevant, and it could only cost 1.
I just think drop power is so relevant in this game right now. Like, with all the, like, cats and the Alice's little scouts. And you have to remember, this is a 40-card deck. I think you guys are in the Magic mind, where there's 60-card deck. Some of those things are lands, so sometimes you're drawing dead cards. You're never drawing dead in Force of Will. If you have a lot of draw power, I don't think you'll ever need this card.
I think this is one of these cards where we're going to have a very, very big difference on. But I think we definitely need to see this one in play before we really make a hedge judgment on
You
this.
can smoothie it.
I would love to put a bet on this, but who knows if this set will make it into the next Worlds. They might do what they did in Next World and rotate into the newest block. So I don't know how we correctly bet on this card. But I believe that this card could really do some really good plays. Like, this card is a key part of a lot of combo decks. It allows you to thin out the way you need to. It has its places.
I agree.
I think it needs better resonators to pick from right now.
They're super... Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, but I think that this is...
Like, would you play this in a Huanglong deck?
Search out
Probably
one
not.
No?
Okay. Well, let's not get too caught up on this one card that we can have an infinite debate about. Let's go ahead and move to the very last spoiler card for the new spoilers, which is the Perseus Memoria, which is really awesome art. I definitely like the way that the stone looks. However, she looks kind of weird. I'm mainly talking about the little emblem. Yeah, her art for her looks really like kind of awkward. But the stone, and you see this actually appear in a lot of the other artwork, is this little stone. I kind of like the look of that. But most importantly, we finally have a special magic stone that is a dual color stone that is not the dual stones we already have. This is introducing the idea that it looks like we'll probably have, by the end of this whole block releasing, dual stones for basically 8 dual stones of every 2 colors. So this
8?
is... Well...
10? Right?
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is you in your deck you can play 4 green-white of the regular dual stones and 4
green-white
of these special stones. And these stones are a lot different than your other ones. Essentially, if they interplay and your ruler is not the specified ruler, in this case it's the Glorious Mass Crusader and Faria, ruler of Divine Beast. If it's not that set ruler, it enters the battlefield tapped unless you pay 300 life, which making these the Shock or Pain Stones, or however you want to...
Shock Rocks.
Shock Rocks, as some people been calling them. I'm just going to be calling them Pain Stones because it sounds cleaner for me.
Yeah, they don't sound good.
Essentially, it's a Pain Stone. Treat this card as a light magic stone and a wind magic stone, which means that in older formats, this is able to be flipped off of Gretel and other cards that this is relevant to. It, of course, taps to produce light or wind. And as long as your J ruler is Faria, ruler of Divine Beast, you can tap it and it gains +200/+200 till end of turn. A lot of people are upset that there's more dual stones in the game currently, and for me, I'm super, super happy that we have more dual stones. It doesn't give perfect mana, but it gives you 2 mana perfectly, and I'm really excited for just being able to play consistently in this game. What do you guys think about this?
I love this stone. I think it's great. I'm glad dual stones are coming back. I hope they keep on making dual stones. I'm very happy with the fact that you can play 8 of practically the same dual stone.
Yeah, I think they should have printed like stones like this instead of another reprint.
Yes.
Or the original duels.
I think that this was a bad timing for a print of the other dual stones. I think that we would have been fine with just these in the format if this would have been the way that these rolled out. Actually, I like these more than the other ones because they give more of a make you think about how you're going to put your resources out, can punish you for them or however that needs to be. It makes you think about your mana base a lot more than just throwing 4 of everything in. But I'm okay with them all being in the format at once for right now. I think it'll be fine. I don't think it's the end of times. I think this will be a really fun time to play the deck that you want to play, however you want to play it. So I'm personally just excited.
Yeah. I think it's pretty cool. And I wanted to mention that you said like that was she had like her sword with the whatever colored stones.
Yeah.
Isn't that probably the stone that you're referring to?
No, that's actually different. So the way that that stone looks like is, you guys can see it on our right. It's like a giant rock stone with things shooting out of it, with a little eyeball in the center of it. It looked like it's supposed to be from Yu-Gi-Oh! Or something like that, some millennial item. That's what that one looks like. The sword actually just has 4 different like hex or like triangle gem crystals in it. Okay. And they're oriented 3 at top and 1 on the bottom, and it's all 4 different colors of the Sacred Beast. So that's definitely different. It's not her Memoria. I think it's the stones of the beasts, which I'm guessing when things die in this world, you turn into stone, is what I'm starting to think is occurring here. However, I don't know how that works in the lore. Either which, I'm super excited for the way that this new set looks like. A little bit of a speculation on what I think our next rulers are going to be is if you look at the back of the stone, or back of the cards. I actually forgot what they were really quick, so 1 second as I read awkwardly off screen. Alright, I'm back. So the color wheel in Force of Will is a little bit different than you see in Magic. And at first when I saw the dual colors, I was like, oh, those are friendly colors because of Magic. They're not. They're actually across from each other on the summoning circle, which means that I think that we're going to follow that trend on most of the other rulers, which is why I think water and darkness might be our next ruler that we see, followed by the wind and fire, and then last is the darkness and light ruler. Or actually, I think that would be water and fire would be the last one. So I think that's how the cycle is going to go around. I think that they're not going to keep them next to each other on the wheel. I think that they're going to keep them kind of like split enemy style.
The enemy colors.
Yes, but only half of the enemy cycle, which means that there might be another end to that, and then possibly the friendly cycle after that. I don't know if that's how that's going to be, but that, it gives that's what I would predict off of seeing the current ruler as it is right now.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I'm going to go out of the box here and just be like, they didn't want to copy Magic's color pie, and they're just going to do the Magic ally colors for the rulers. I think it's going to be black, blue, black, red, green, white. Well,
White, blue.
No, there's going to be a red, blue one, though.
Yeah.
There has to be a red, blue one, because I'm pretty sure that, sorry, what are the two main people? Narcothep and, what's the other one? One that's frozen in the casket?
Alice?
Lumia. I think they're going to be like a ruler, J ruler combo. Like, they're going to be
Back
on the
and
same
forth?
card. Yeah.
Okay.
Are they the same people?
They're not the same people, but in the arts, there's two different arts of them in, like, literally the same picture.
I thought it was Lumia. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
So I guess maybe I'm wrong, because blue, red are enemy colors in Magic. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to necessarily go together. However, we're definitely going to already see, by the time that this comes out, Friday spoilers will already be out. So whether we're right or wrong, we'll know quite fast.
Yeah, we'll find out.
And that's speculating that they're going to be pushing their rulers on Friday. I'm pretty sure they're going to be doing 2 a week, which means that definitely come check us out, guys, weekly to see what we think of the spoilers, since we usually have a unique take on them. A little bit different than everybody else, just reading what the cards do. So yeah, definitely join us for that next week as well, and we'll see if we're right or wrong with the rulers. Outside of that, if you guys want to move on to the next bit of spoilers that we have, which is the Vingolf spoilers.
Spoilers.
So the Vingolf spoilers are going to be the fact that I think most of the rulers in it, and the biggest thing that I want to talk about really quick, is it looks like it's going to be dragon themed for the rulers, which is kind of an interesting idea.
You should be happy.
So before we get into speculation on that, quickly go over what's going to be in the set. As usual, it's going to have 5 different rulers. They're going to be all new, which is most likely going to be the dragon rulers that we'll talk about in a second. Then it's going to have 5 special magic stones, which is super awesome, these stones. We'll definitely talk a little bit more about those. 10 kinds of special magic stones. The interesting thing about these is it's supposedly supposed to be all new dual special stones. So nothing from this set, nothing from the next couple sets, and nothing that we've had before with the regular dual stones. So it looks like we'll have a 3rd type of dual stones in the game, which I'm pretty excited about.
They don't say dual, but there's 10.
True, it's 10 special magic stones,
duels.
which makes me think duels. So we'll figure that out in a second. The other thing that we have to look at is there's going to be 25 editions and chants. They're all going to be reprints. So nothing new out of those, but it'll be interesting to see what we can get, since usually they did some new ones in the Vingolf sets. But we'll see what they actually do. If it's all reprints in this one, I'm interested to see what key cards they pick for us. But 55 of the resonators, including multi-attributes and other things like that, will all be completely new. No reprints there at all. Which means any key cards, Cheshire Cats, anything like that people wanted will not be coming back in this Vingolf set. We will have a total of 100 new cards added into the game, and this will be launching on February 10th of 2017, so not too far out for us to actually see that stuff. Just right after the holidays, we'll end up seeing the Vingolf set. And also, allegedly, or actually not allegedly, we have it confirmed from this that there'll be 2 Vingolf sets a year now. So, really quick, that was a lot of information. Let's quickly dissect it. The 5 new rulers looking to be most likely dragons.
Probably going to be dragons.
From the artwork that they had spoiled, they had a blue ruler from
Kronos.
Valhalla.
From Valhalla.
One of the better rulers, I think. He was a one-sided ruler, like Tree or Grim.
Do you remember what he did?
He had a list of text that I could not... It had to do with drawing cards or something.
Vingolf cards are a little bit out of memory. Kind of hard to remember what those are. But the other ones that we had was some random dragon.
Like Leviathan, it was over a
Leviathan.
raging sea.
Yeah.
Probably a card I would play.
Sylvia, which looks like will probably be our red ruler for the set.
Oh, I think she might be a stone.
You think she might be a stone?
I'm gonna
That's
gamble.
true. We'll end up we'll talk about that in a second.
Oh, okay.
And then one other one, which was the
Little Red.
Crimson Girl.
Crimson Girl. So those were the only arts that were spoiled. Well, 4 of the arts that were spoiled for this. The other one is going to be the special art for a regular basic stone, which could be what these arts that we just saw might be for.
Mm-hmm. I think
if you think Kronos is going to be an art, maybe.
I don't think. I think he's going to be an
he
actual
won't be blue.
resonator,
Yeah.
a ruler potentially.
So there's going to be, as we've seen so far, just the Dark Alice is on a basic stone. It looks like they're going to be putting
Darkness basic stone.
It looks like they're going to be putting artwork that isn't just a stone on the basic stone arts, which means that these things are going to look amazing, and even more amazing for the very lucky few who open it as a super rare in the foil pack and get this super nice looking.
Can you get foil basics?
I don't know if you can,
No.
but I hope that they do.
Okay.
This is complete speculation on that. They probably won't, but if they did, man, would that look amazing.
I
want these in foil.
I would rather them print it as like a promo.
A foil promo?
That would be more accessible.
Maybe, but
the price would spike and we can't get playsets. And that would be terrible.
True. However, them just releasing this as a non-foil, though, makes me kind of sad.
I mean, it'll still be pretty. It already looks great. I think just a foil gloss finish, it won't add much, I feel. Unless it's textured. Textured promo would be way better.
Okay, textured full art promo. Which is sweet. So the other four stones, sorry there guys, is going to be definitely art like this as well. So different rulers. I'm guessing the rulers
or characters
from the other games, which is super awesome. So this also leads to believe that, or I'm pretty sure we've had confirmation on this as well, that this entire Vingolf set will be Force of Will themed, as opposed to the last 2 sets of Vingolf, which have been exclusively
video games.
Video game
Yeah.
arts and other sort of sorted things. So it's kind of interesting that they're moving away from that and retaining just the game stuff. I don't know if that's going to be just for every other set or how this really fits into
because it might, if it's 2 a year, it could easily be every other set. But speculation has it that the Force of Will movie will probably be the next one, not this.
That's what I thought. I was thinking that the Vingolf sets were going to be based around the movie when it does, but we could still see the second release of the Vingolf set next year be movie based.
Like the middle one,
like this one.
Okay.
And we could have video game in between. Or the Vingolf sets could be nothing but video game released, and they could just be super meta with this and say because they released Battle Simulator, Force of Will is now a video game. And they released a Vingolf set for that game.
So yeah,
I doubt that. But that'd be the super meta way.
We said this Vingolf set's coming out in January or February?
It's in February.
Okay,
February 10th.
so if those 10 special stones end up being dual stones, that means we'll have 3 different types of dual stones in
this, yes.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
You don't think they're gonna be dual stones? Then what are they gonna be?
There's
10 of them.
If it was 5, I would say they were all...
If it was 5, I would say they're single attributes that deal something special.
I guess, I don't know.
We could see a bunch of stones that didn't have attributes on them at all. Maybe stones of void. Sorry, I had to work that in there somewhere. No, but they could be stones that didn't have attributes on them. Maybe stones that entered the battlefield and had only effects on them.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So, like Maze of Ith type of thing from Magic, where it's a stone that enters the battlefield, doesn't produce any will, but it can tap down a creature, or it does something unique. Maybe it produces any color of will, but once you meet certain requirements. They could do a large variety of things. I think the easiest way out of doing 10 different stones is the dual stones, so that's most likely what we're going to see. But there's nothing stopping them from doing something very unique with these. They don't necessarily have to be dual stones because we do have so many in the format right now.
Yeah.
They could take a chance and make a bunch of unplayable stones if they really wanted to, or highly playable stones depending on how they go with it. But that's completely up to their design team and how they really want to push it.
Mm.
I would love to see stones that weren't just will production.
Okay. Yeah. No, that would be cool. And then back to the basic stones, like why I think, at least my speculation why I think Sylvia might be the red stone is just Dark Alice. I have just that feeling Force of Will is going to want to have a female character in every basic stone card.
That's a good possibility.
So Sylvia and Little Red may be the green stone, you know.
Was Dark Alice and Sylvia released in the same set?
Yeah.
It could be that entire set cycle.
So
But
Reflect,
R&R?
Refrain be the green
Be a
stone.
yeah, for...
And
it
then
Valentina?
Valentina would be blue stone,
Yeah,
and then...
that's a possibility.
Black.
Well, black is
Black
Dark
is
Alice.
Dark Alice, yeah.
Who are we missing?
White?
Yeah,
White would be...
Who is that?
Kaguya?
No, it wasn't Kaguya.
No. Wow. We are so good at this one.
Oh, it was Fairy Alice.
Oh.
That no one knew.
Yeah, nobody cares about that one. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I would like to see
I
those
don't think
different-
so. I think they're just going to be famous female characters from...
Which...
I wouldn't agree.
Those were all females.
Valentina. R&R is...
Well, they
twin.
just put the girl from the front side. They
I
don't
don't
have to
think
put...
so.
Yeah.
I think Crimson Girl.
Refrain.
Crimson Girl.
Crimson Girl in the Skies.
Crimson Girl would
the
make sense
most
because that's the
popular
spoiled
one.
art that we got for the Vingolf set. I definitely think that those ones might be introduced into the stones.
Mm-hmm.
But we won't know until we see those. This is definitely all just speculation on these ones.
I mean, it could be those 5 arts for all we know, but Kronos was technically a blue ruler, I think. I don't think he was a black ruler. No, wait.
Right.
Oh, no, Dark Alice is black. What color?
You're just getting confused. So that would actually make sense.
So there's
That'd be
no
perfect
white.
wheel.
There's no white represented
That's
in those
true.
colors, technically.
True.
Unless Kronos is white.
Yeah.
Or the Leviathan thing.
The Leviathan has to be blue.
Definitely,
It just has to
definitely
be
double
blue.
that. So, yeah, no, I'm definitely interested to see what we get out of all that. The reprints will be interesting. I'm glad that they're going to be doing reprints in the set, though, because they didn't do any reprints for spells inside of the last Vingolf set.
Yeah, they're all new.
Right, which I don't like that under the idea of... I like it, but I like functional reprints for people that didn't get a chance to get them in the previous sets. We do find a lot of people that don't have those cards.
You never know, they might
Play
be
sets in
reprints
in
of
this.
cards from Grim Cluster that they might make legal in this set.
That'd be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be a good way to bring back those cards that maybe they can't bring back in a set thematically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, named cards.
Mm-hmm.
Something that maybe only targets Sylvie or something like that. Later on in the line, they can bring those back in that way.
Yeah.
Maybe that's also why they're doing this one Force Will themed, is for the reprints. And then every other set's going to be non-reprint. So, video game non-reprint, Force of Will reprint, and cycle back and forth that way.
And it's only editions chance that are getting reprinted. No resonators are getting reprinted.
all
No
the
resonators.
all the resonators are going to be new, apparently.
Okay. It would be nice if they reprinted some of the old Valhalla.
Well, the characters
well,
will come back, but...
I think this is, they're going to be similar to this set, how it's functional reprints of old cards with fixed, better words, make sure that they're not broken or that they're just correctly worded from now on.
Well, I think it'll be just be popular characters and cards. Like, it'll be literally people's favorite characters. Like, I would assume Priscia's probably going to be on a card because a lot of people love Priscia. And what other characters? I mean, Valentina is liked. Pretty much almost all the female characters.
I want Sprout to come back.
Okay. Yeah, good luck with that one.
Definitely don't think we're going to see Sprout come back anytime soon. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about in regards to...
I actually think we forgot to talk about something quite important about the spoilers for the set,
Okay.
which was so it detailed its list just like we talked about with the Vingolf.
Mm-hmm.
So they said there's going to be 3 token cards in this set.
Oh, right.
One of them's confirmed to be the elf. We do not know what the other 2 are. So that means there's going to be more token-producing cards.
That's super awesome. I'm super
What
excited to see
about
more token stuff in this game.
Energized token?
Could bring, the
could
coin.
be, one could be the energized
That
token.
would be really nice.
So
to see
that's
that printed.
2. Like, what would the other one be?
Ooh. I don't
2
know.
energized tokens?
Just 2 different colors?
No, but there's 2 different elf tokens.
Oh, are
There
there?
In the
was.
battle for Adarati Assimilator, so that might be the
That
third
might
one.
be it. Yeah, 2 different
Interesting.
arts.
Yeah.
But just seeing the fact that there is going to be more tokens introduced is pretty awesome. My question is, how is that going to take up a card slot?
Yeah. A lot of people are...
Is that going to take up a common, which I'm sure I'd be fine with? Is it going to be inserted in between the rare and the...
My super rare is the token.
Yeah, I think it might be in that slot.
That'd
That
be too
might be a
bad.
thing. Which is okay because it's also where the basic stones go too.
Is
So
there gonna
it's
be
kind of throwaway slot.
Is there gonna be like a token in every single?
No, I imagine that it's going to be either a basic stone, a token, or a super rare.
They should just print it on the back of the QR codes.
But then the QR codes would have to be a higher print quality, and most of those get thrown away. I don't think that they would go through and do that for those.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm super excited for those token cards. We definitely needed those, and it'll be really fun to get more things that do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, in addition to that, we also saw the new pack art and the box art, which looks pretty awesome.
And the buy a box promos.
Yeah, buy a box promo, which was
Black Moonbeam.
Black Moonbeam. That'll be pretty awesome to get your one copy of that. It's all you really need.
And then the mat is obviously one of the bad guys from Altea and he's got like a kind of like this weird spiral eye patch or something, and his like little demon buddy on it too.
Yeah,
sweet.
So
and we also have the satchels coming back.
Yep, satchels.
So
they're
some
never gonna
people
go
are,
away.
Yeah, not very excited about that. I was excited for the first 2 just because they were useful in weird ways. The third one got annoying, and now I don't know where to put them. But
It'd be cool at least if they did different colors or something.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
But they always do red.
Yeah,
Boxes
red's their
are always
thing.
red.
Red
They
packs, red boxes, red bags.
They are really cool handouts. So the way that I do my buy a box stuff is you can choose a playmat or one of the satchel bags per box you buy at our store. And a lot of people will, if they have too many playmats, they might just grab the satchel so that way they have a bag to carry stuff out with.
Mm-hmm.
So it does serve a purpose, whether or not they keep it or throw it away later. When I hand that over to somebody across the counter, and especially if somebody who bought 3 boxes and they get the satchel and 3 different playmats, and they got playmats coming out the wazoo, they're 3 boxes stuffed in this giant bag. When other people see that, they go, wait, what is that? They ask about it, and I usually end up selling 2 or 3 extra boxes in the course of the day out of people just seeing other people receiving those products.
Mm-hmm.
And even well after pre-release, I still end up giving all these things away. This is our permanent promotion. You always get a playmat or one of these satchel bags per box you buy. So there's always somebody seeing these really cool playmats, seeing all these things. It's a great advertised promotional thing to constantly be pushing out. Even though that's not how they're meant to be used, I really enjoy just watching other people see those things. They want those things, and they're like, oh, such a good deal. And I end up picking up a lot of sales that way.
Yeah.
So if you guys have too many mats, other store people who might be watching this, try pushing them out that way. Works awesome. It's a great way to do that. Yeah. That aside, now is the question: is there anything else you guys want to talk about from that?
I don't think so.
No.
Cool. Was there anything else you guys wanted to bring up in general for this week? So outside of this, I know that this video is probably super long already, so I don't know if you guys wanted to go on with anything else today.
No, I think I'm good.
You guys want to call it for the night?
Yeah.
Cool. We know we're going to be swamped down with a ton of spoilers next time, so we might end up doing a side video for a few extra projects that we're doing. We'll definitely let you guys know about those as it continues. especially a new format that we're kind of working on for stuff. All that and a lot more. We'll end up giving you guys a lot more information in future videos. But definitely thank you for watching this time, guys. And as always, I'm Jay Phillips, joined by
Patrick Collins.
And Don Bowie.
Take it easy, guys.